our first presenter is none other than Richard Obiga. And Richard Obiga is a senior program officer with the National Social Protection Secretariat. And Richard is our expert, and I know Richard for many years, actually supporting and doing a lot of technical work within the policy and the partnership unit. So, Richard, you are here. This is a very technical presentation on what we have been longing for about the Social Protection Act. Mwaka jana tukasikia, and we saw the photos, we saw the ceremony in Parliament when our president signed the Social Protection. That time it was a bill into an act, yani sheria. So, karibu Bwana Obiga. And for that, and for that, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Rastas, and good morning. Good morning, team.
Good morning.
Watu wa pande ile, good morning.
Good morning.
Naona mko sawa. Watu wa pande hii.
Good morning.
Hapo mkubalana. So we are happy to be here, and we thank God for this day, a very exciting day. Just to share thoughts and discussions on matters of all persons, where, God willing, with the grace of God, all of us are excited to be there. So I will be taking us through the Act, the Social Protection Act number 12 of 2025, and as you can hear Erastus speaking to that, some of you saw it when it was being passed. And I know it is a big game changer for the country. That is one thing that Kenya has tried to put in place for quite a number of years. And I think since the last act of 2013, which was not implemented, then this comes as a real benefit to the country. So, just turn to your neighbor, Mulili, come up with us. Mwambie tu, just relax, hatuongei mambo ngumu sana. Mwambie itakuwa ngumu sana, pana. Si sheria tu ya Kenya, si ya ng'ambo. Ingekuwa ya UK, ingekuwa una from vile. Lakini ya Kenya. So you have a reason to be happy. Okay, I've seen a smile from that corner. That one has encouraged me now. So basically I'm going to, I know I heard Madam Jessica speak about whether I'll be touching on policy. It was, the TORs did not specify the policy, so I steered clear of that. Kwa hivyo ukisikia sijaguzia kwa kipana, juu ya sera, usisikie vibaya. But it will not be easy to discuss on the act without just taking you a slide on the policy, just to appreciate, because the policy gives you the environment. Inakupea taswira kamili mahali ambapo social protection ina operate for, lakini sheria sasa inakuja kuwekeza mambo fulani muhimu katika hiyo sekta mzima ya social protection. Wangapi leo ndio wanasikia hii swala la social protection mara ya kwanza? Leo tu ndio wanasikia. Kumbe kuna kitu inaitwa social protection. Kuna hivyo kama kuna tuko sawa. So basically I'll be focusing on the act, but I just said that was the gazettement. In the next slide, you will be able to see just a picture of the act as it was passed on that day. And you will be just getting there. Because of that, hii class hakuna kulala, tafadhali kila hapa unaweza shtuliwa anytime. Kwa hivyo mtu asikule usingizi. Yeah, so I'm just saying that is the act, and that was as it was assented to by by the president, and that is what was posted. So just as I say, ni vyema kuelewa, it's good to understand and appreciate that the act operates from a policy environment, and in a normal policy legislative development process, the requirement is that you have a policy in place that defines the universe of action for that particular sector. Then after that, now from that policy, you are able to develop a particular act, because you have to justify why you need an act beyond a policy that is there. So in terms of social protection, I'm just appreciating together with all of us that social protection is a right. Tunaanzia hapa. Kwa sababu nisipoeleza hiyo, even the law part of it. Are there people online who may not be very conversant in Swahili? I'm notorious for mixing the two. Just for making sure that iko sawa. Bas, sawa gani? S-A-W-A ama ile ingine? S-O-U-R. Okay. So what we are saying is that it is good to appreciate, because when we lose this, when we don't get it right from this point, then many of us do not understand what we are talking about. So the basic thing I'm saying is that hii ni haki ya kila mmoja. This is a right. Social protection is a right. Many of us have seen it as a charity. We have operated for a long time from a charity paradigm, a charity perspective. Tunaiona tu kama ile pesa unasaidia wazee, hata wao wenyewe mpaka wanaiona hivyo, mpaka wanajihurumia, hata hawawezi jitetea, hawawezi jisemea, because you have created that charity paradigm on social protection. But social protection is a right with full constitutional provisions and even global instruments that speak to the right to social protection. Right from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, Article 22 is very clear on the provision of social protection. So I just wanted to put that slide. Before you treat me as anybody, treat me as a human being. Kwanza unione kama mwanadamu aliye na haki zake. Because that is where even our politicians and some of our policymakers get it wrong. And that is where we are not able to support certain members of our community, because we think hata hiyo msaada unapotoa, hata kama sehemu ya serikali, ni kama tu unasaidia mtu tu, sio jukumu lako na tendo la kikatiba. Lakini tutaona kwa katiba vipengele vyake kamili, kuna mahali ambapo unapata ya kwamba mambo ya masuala ya uhifadhi wa jamii imewekwa vizuri sana. Article 43 is very clear on the issues of economic and social rights, where you find those specific rights, whether you look from just right from Article 43, 1A to E, you will see the various rights that are touching on social protection. I'm not going there for today, but I just wanted to tell you, when I speak about the Social Protection Act, I must bring it to your attention that first thing is, it is a right. Then, I'll be keen in this next slide to just show you where we are coming from and where we are, even as we are talking about the Act. The Act originates from the Social Protection Policy. We have the Kenya Social Protection Policy 2023, that is when it was passed, but many of you like Erastus are aware that they did the first policy in 2011, the Kenya National Social Protection Policy 2011, which gave us a clear framework on how then we should be able to implement social protection in the country. But going down the many years since 2012, when it was adopted, up to many years downstream, many of you know that social protection has grown so much in Kenya. That time they were doing it, we had only about 295,000 beneficiaries of the National Safety Net Program. But when you are coming to around the year 2018, 2017, when we analyzed the sector to see imebadilika namna gani, we were talking about 1.2 million beneficiaries. So you could see quite a number of people have come into the space, agencies and organizations. So we reviewed the first policy and we contextualize social protection in the country in terms of this. This is the whole universe of how social protection operates in the country. Kwa hivyo unaona kwamba kwa pillar 1, we have what we call income security. And with that income security, we're just looking at how then can we be able to address some of the challenges that are affecting different categories of persons across the nation. Wawe ni watoto, wawe ni watu ambao wanafanya kazi, ama wawe ni wazee ambapo tulivetulete kwa mjadala siku ya leo, ama wawe ni persons with disability. So the various issues that can address income support for the categories of people who are poor and vulnerable across the lifestyle. So we put it as income security pillar, where we combine social assistance, ile msaada tunapeana pasipo mtu kutoa kitu chochote, we call the non-contributory element of social protection, but then we combine it with social security, ile mambo ya hazina ya wazee, the pension system, whether the formal pension or how we want to say, you know, I mean, some of them are calling it a pension for all persons. So basically that has been put into pillar number 1. And then pillar number 2 tulitambua kwamba mambo ya afya, issues to do with health. You can never address poverty if you're not able to address issues of health. So the social health protection pillar is that we intend to mitigate against health risks. Na tunajua hata tunapokusanyika hapa leo kuongea masuala ya wazee, jambo ambalo wazee wanakumbana nayo sana ni mambo ya ugonjwa na magonjwa. Because the more you get older, the more frail you become, and therefore you will need the support to be able to support yourself. So the policy, so the need to have very clear programs around the social health protection. At that time, we had the NHIF, and we are aware that in 2023 we had the transformation from NHIF now to the SHIF and the SHA. But the whole thing is to ensure that every person is able to access health support to be able to mitigate against the health risks. So there are various provisions there. We realize that in Kenya, there are various shocks. COVID-19 taught us a lesson. Many times you will hear when Madam Jacinta is speaking about this, how we had already finalized the policy, then COVID occurred, then we had to go back and reopen the policy to be able to be very clear on this pillar of shock responsive. Lakini nyinyi pia mnajua kwamba hali ya mabadiliko ya nchi climate change inaitwa kwa Kiswahili. Tabia ya nchi hali ya tabia ya nchi, and we know that 3/4 of Kenya is arsol. So we are prone to various climatic shocks and risks. And even the non-arsol areas, right now, even in terms of those areas that appear to be very normal, kupanda na kupalilia na kulenga masizons zimekuwa changamoto because the cycles that we were used to in our early years have now changed. Now you can realize utapanda tu hapo January, na unapanda hata December, because the rain pattern, the rainfall pattern, the intensities and the whatever has really changed. But together with that, we also acknowledge the various risks and vulnerabilities that are coming from various shocks, whether health shocks or just climatic shocks. So we have a very clear pillar that is driving in that is cushioning various populations for the adverse effects of shocks and risks. So it is called the shock responsive pillar. And then the pillar number 4 is called complementary social protection programs. We need to work together. Today we are here courtesy of the 2 agencies and even other agencies who are here ya kwamba tuweze kuungana pamoja tupigane na umaskini. So unaona ya kwamba no one person can do it alone. No single bullet can cure poverty. Poverty is multidimensional, and unless you work together with various sectors, you are not able to take people out of poverty. Up to that point, can we clap once? And because of that, hakuna kulala kwa hiki, tunakaa choni tunakata macho. Ukikana simu kwa mkono utanunua ingine mpya. Kwa sababu naona ukigonga. Okay, so we are saying I wanted to pull out this because this is where the act is going from. Hakuna kitu utatoa nje ya hii environment. Hapa ndipo utaona vitu vyote ambavyo sheria inakuja kuwekeza zitatoka hapa. So ukikosa kufahamu hii itakuwa shida wewe kufahamu zile ambazo sheria zinasema. So the whole thing is social protection is geared towards offering that. But I also say, even when you see the act in place, what we are doing is that we are doing our programming within the life cycle approach. Kikabisa hata kwa hiyo sheria na hata kwa ajili hiyo sheria tutakapoiangalia utaona inashughulikia masuala ya yale vitu ambavyo tunakumbana nazo katika hali yetu ya kimaisha katika viwango tofauti ya kuendelea kwetu. So the life cycle approach is very important, and it is good for us to appreciate so that when we unpacking the act you can see exactly how it borrows and all programming and interventions inatambua kwamba kuna changamoto kadhaa zinakumba viwango tofauti. You cannot do a one-fits-all programming. You have to take note that children have their own unique vulnerabilities. Watu wenye wanafanya kazi wako na changamoto zao ambazo zinafanana na wao kivyao, si ndio? Si hata hapa ndani kuna kikundi cha watu fulani tunawatoa hapa ndani wenye si wazee na si hao wengine si watoto. Then number 3, tunatambua ya kwamba, and I appreciate your conversing with my colleague from CDF. Morris went. So we are looking at how effectively do we cushion the people of working age. Some are having poor working conditions. How do we ensure the whole issue of decent work, the whole issue of having their savings? How do we deal with issues of domestic violence and gender-based violence and all those things that can surround a family setting, but also admitting that if we don't program well, we have challenges that are very unique to older persons. And all this must be looked at in a very, very holistic way, and that's why I'm telling you in advance that even when you hear me talk about the act, behind that act is a life cycle approach to social protection program. Tuko pamoja mpaka hapo? Si tunaweza piga kichwa hivi kama tunaelewa. Okay, fine. Any questions about that point? Because those are the sheria hii ilikuwa kitu wewe watarisha kuingia kwa sheria. So I'm getting to the act. I have so much about the policy, but I'm not unpacking. Of course, when you show that hand saying that I am a person with the right before you see me as anything, you require the right-based approach to social protection. Hata saa hii, tunapoongea masuala, kuna vijana wako hapa ndani. Tafadhali vijana mlio hapa ndani. Hata ukisikia tukiongea masuala ya wazee, msione kama hamjawahi kuwa kama huyu mama yangu. Ndio vijana wanaweza kaa, sisi wengine wanafikiria ni never be old. Itapita mtu mzee anamchekelea. Akisikia tunaenda retire anamchekelea, kingine anaenda retire. Wewe unaona kama unakuwa ni hivi. Wanasema ujana ni moshi, ndio maana wanaivuta. Lakini sawa tu. So let's work towards this, and why I'm saying that is because the Rastas and together with my colleagues, tukifanya masuala mazuri katika mambo ya awali, then hapa kutakuwa na shida. So what I'm saying is, and this is for us, this is why I took us to the policy, appreciate and understand that if we can, hata kama wamama wadada zangu na wale person, saa hii saidieni watu kuelewa ya kwamba masuala muhimu yanastahili kutendeka pale mwanzo. Maana ukiyafanya vizuri na watoto watokeze vizuri na nidhamu na maadili na kukua kuzuri, then hii yote itakuwa rahisi. Tuko pamoja? Okay. Yes, please.
I'm asking a question on this about age.
Yes.
This is a very good and ability to work.
Yes.
What do you mean by the ability to work? Maybe you can explain what you mean and what you don't mean.
Thank you so much. What we mean is, old age comes with a lot of frailties because the general body ability reduces with age. Si kweli? Tupende tusipende, umri na mwendo wenye dada yangu sasa hapa anaweza enda, mama yangu hapa anaweza enda, ni tofauti ukimweka na huyu msichana. Kuna mtu ataacha mwingine. Kwa uwezo tu, kwa sababu mwendo na nguvu iko tofauti. Kazi yenye inaweza fanywa hapa sasa hivi ukichomokwa hapa, tuseme nimeweka kitu hapo ya kuchukua, nimeweka some dollars there, na nikapanga pamoja, nimwambie mamangu hapa na huyu msichana, kimbieni mchukue hiyo. Huyu atachukua awali mapema sana kama mwezi mbili. So what we are saying, yes, the inability to work is because of, number one, there can be frailties that are associated with old age. You know, there are some of those old age diseases that render people basically not able to function in the capacity as they were young. That is one dimension. Number two is just by virtue of, look at a 90-year-old. Mwingine alituambia mama yake ni 100 years. Ako 100 years, angependa kusafisha nyumba yake. Angependa kujipikia chakula chake. Lakini uwezo, nguvu ya kufanya hiyo, inafanya nini? inakataa. Sasa hata maslahi yake ya kinyumbani. One day as I was in the field, I was doing targeting for persons with disability, and I went to the house of a former PS, and it was very interesting because nikakuta walikuwa wamejenga bungalow iko na nyumba ya juu na pia chini iko. Do you know this woman? Okay, the former PS died and she remained there, na alikuwa housewife. Do you know she moved everything to the sitting room? Kila kitu kwa sitting room. Number one, hawezi kwa ajili ya magoti hawezi panda ende juu. Number two, kwa ajili ya uwezo hawezi panguza hizi room zote zingine. hawezi panguza hizo rooms 10 na kitu. So akaweka vitu mahali ambapo anaweza zimanage. Jiko ama stove ikae hapo karibu. She doesn't need to move. Haya, cleaning anaweza clean tu hiyo yenye anaweza. So what we are saying is that the inability to work, the productive capacity of older persons reduces with increase in age. Some are able to work, and we really encourage. We are designing programs that can allow them to work, especially when they are able to work. They give counseling, they do what, but because of the age and the frailties associated with older persons, then you realize their ability to work decreases, and some are totally rendered incapable of working. I think that is what I wanted to explain by that, Director.
You know the reason why I'm asking that?
Yes.
If you look at the Kenyan constitution and how it define old age.
Yes.
Anybody
above 60.
Above 60 years of age is defined as an older person.
Yes.
But you realize, I don't know what used to happen in the past, those who used to be old used to really be old. Now, if you look at somebody who is 60 years and retiring, you wonder
whether this person is
really reached 60 because he looks very young.
Very young. Yeah.
And then secondly, you look at the academia, the universities, somebody 74, they will retire at 74. So it therefore tells you that after reaching the age of 60, you still have 14 years to go. So when you say inability to work, that was my question.
Oh, yes.
Because now, when it is now like that,
it appears inclusive. It
inclusive
locks
of
them.
everybody, because somebody at 90, 100, and somebody at 61, up to 74, this person is still very active, unless he's caught up with this. Do we call them these diseases? How do there's a name you use for them? These are diseases that come with age.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, sure. I really admit that. We are clear. We agree on that. That it should not be used inclusively as a blanket to all older person. It's just that uniquely, in some cases, it reduces your optimal capacity to be able to work. Thank you for that input. So basically, in terms of the Act, because of time, we are... Yes, please.
Okay, so mine is not a question.
Yes.
It is just to stress on one area. Richard told you about the shock responsive pillar, and he was telling you that when we were working on the policy, we had to go back again and think, what is it about shock in Kenya? That is the time for COVID. That was the time for COVID. So what we did, initially we were just thinking of drought as a shock element. Then COVID came. So as we were working on that pillar, we were thinking, what next? And just the way we say that social protection keeps on changing the situations. Let us think this year, who thought Nairobi would be having floods? So things keep on changing, let us look at it. That pillar is always telling you there's something new. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. People moved from where they never thought they could ever, and they never thought they could ever move, because it touched places that you could never think of. And that is why we are saying we need to have that component very strong, very innovative, and so that we are able to cushion our people from falling deeper into poverty situations and being able to support them. So basically the Act is, the Social Protection Act has these particular parts. It has 6 parts with schedules attached. The part 1 is the preliminaries, which basically handles definitions. Then you have the short title, you have the long title, you have the definition, what is social assistance, what is social protection, who is a child and who is an orphan. Hizo maelezo zote ziko hapo ndani. Whatever is attaching, what is shock responsive social protection, hayo yote yameelezewa hapo ndani, and I'll not be defining those ones. The preliminary part I'll not belabor, because ni mambo ambayo tumeyatumia, the terms that are heavily used there, so that you get the right understanding when you find them in the Act. Then part 2, which I'll also not touch so deeply on, is on the board, because it speaks to the establishment of the board for social protection, so that we see how best do we manage the social protection sector. Then part 3, those are now the parts that are very, very important for our understanding, because they speak to the administration of social protection. Hii masuala ya social protection itakuwa inashughulikiwa namna gani? Then what are some of the offenses? Ni mambo gani utakuwa unavunja sheria unapotekeleza masuala haya, ama kama wewe mwenye unafaidika ama kunufaika na social protection. Then we have the miscellaneous provisions, as is typical in any law, and then the repeal and the transitions. Then we attach the schedules, which are some of them are application forms and all that. I'm doing this from a program officer point of view, not from a lawyer. Si tuko pamoja hapo? Kwa hivyo kama kuna mwanasheria ama kuna background ya wanasheria, tafadhali kubali udhaifu wangu katika eneo hilo. So use the lens of a non-legal officer or a practitioner, but just from a program perspective. So in terms of the title, this is how the act is titled. It is an act of, that is the long title, what lawyers call the long title. That is an act of parliament to provide for the administration of non-contributory social protection interventions to establish a national board for social protection and for connected purposes. So that is what you will see. And for the short title, you just get it, Social Protection Act. That is the short title, number 12 of 2025. So basically, as you could hear what Rastas was speaking to when they saw what was done, the act repeals the Social Assistance Act. It was number what of 2013? It was number 45 or number what, I don't know. Anyway, it's of 2013. Wengi ambao walikuwa katika enzi hiyo ama wameisoma, they know that that act was never implemented because of a number of reasons. Number one, ilipopitishwa, saa hizo tu ndio the PFMA Act ikapitishwa, ambayo ilisema kwamba you don't need to establish a money bill. And that act was establishing an authority which would imply and then there was a feeling from a section of the members that the act was not addressing social protection in its entirety, and therefore the issue of the non-contributor, the other aspect of social protection were not taken care of. But the major reason was because of that particular provision on the PFMA Act. But then this one came into force. We started drafting it as a bill, and then finally it was assented to by the President on 30th of July, 2025, making it a law. It was published by the Kenya Gazette on 5th of August, and then on 19th of August it became effective. And the reason why this act is existing is just to clearly provide a framework for the administration of the non-contributory social protection interventions. Najua mtu atakuwa anajiuliza why non-contributory, that would be a big debate, but ni vyema tu hata ukiuliza bado nitakujibu tu, lakini jawabu la rahisi ni kwamba we are aware that in the true categorization of social protection, even as you saw in the policy, tunatambua ya kwamba social protection has both contributory and non-contributory. The broader division is contributory schemes, which means you pay something into it and then you get something. Example? Na gani tena watu wapande ile? Nyinyi ndio tutawatumia kama mita yetu, mita ya kufahamu. Tukiona mumeshika, tunaenda. The rest of these guys, mimi nilitoka pande hii, so they can't let me down. Pande hii ndio nimetoka. So watu hapa unaona ni wengi, so they have no choice, they have to really move. Sasa nyinyi muhakikishe ya mtu let down. Sawa. So what we are saying is that yes, it is important to understand that categorization ndivyo hivyo kimataifa, social protection imegawiwa hivyo, na hiyo ndio sababu unaona hata kwa pila ya policies iko hivyo. You see the contributory element, NSSF ama the pension schemes, both public and private, iko kwa pillar number 1, where you are seeing income security. Then social health protection, which is also contributory, iko pillar number 2. But when you come to this act, you hear it is for the administration of the non-contributory. Because of what? Nani anaweza niambia sababu ni gani? My sister, do you remember those days when we were young, we used to do it like this? Akikosa kuona unamuongeza. Those were days when school was cool. Wacha hii yenu ya.
I think the non-contributory ni ile ambayo mtu hatoi. Ni wajibu wa serikali.
Oh, kuna online. Ndio ile iko pale.
So for the non-contributory is the one that is done provided by government. Individuals do not pay for it. It is government that provides for it for the most vulnerable.
But why did we not say it is a framework for the administration of both contributory and non-contributory social protection? Mbona tuliweka upande moja? Why did we say only for the non-contributory social protection? Hiyo jawabu ndio nataka. Au Erastus ataiba mtihani.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it is non-contributory because the act is for the vulnerable. So if they are vulnerable, how are they going to make the contributions?
Hiyo pia isa watu wa katikati peana microphone hapa. Ndio yule dada ndio yeye. Unajua kuna wanafunzi walikuwa wanajua answer lakini kuinua mkono.
I'm not sure whether it is right. I think I would associate it to where we started because it is a right.
Yes.
The people don't have to contribute to it.
A very good attempt. Hayapatia watu wa marking scheme ndio wale mwisho.
Mita. Watu wa mita.
Watu wa mita. Unajua nyinyi mkisema kumesemwa.
Repeat the question again.
Why do you think this act speaks to only the non-contributory? Janet anaifungulia hewa. Anyway, to go quickly, as many of us are aware, we have those three components that comprise. You know, there is social security, social assistance, and social insurance. But social insurance in a combining both social security and social health. So hiyo ni contributory. Ukienda sahi, before even SHIF and SHA, NHIF ilikuwa established in which year? Anybody in the room? Watu wa Google? NSSF and NHIF. I combine sasa zote. Tell me which one was established when? Don't be sad, my sister. It's not as bad as you. Naona amepiga kichwa Jack. My mom, usikue sad. Hizi vitu.
Nani ako na jibu?
Naona umepiga kichwa Jack nafikiri.
Felista.
Oh, okay.
I think from Google it's 1966.
Yes, that is the NHIF.
NHIF.
Yes. And you see the establishment it comes with an act. Sini kweli. And the NSSF is around 1965, yes, with an act. So you see, the other contributory arms, even if you come to the NSSF Revised Act of number 45, 2013, tayari wako na sheria. Na NSSF tayari wako na sheria, hata ikabadilisha ikakuwa SHA Act, sini kweli, of 2023. So the other two arms of what is social protection are already legislated. So you can't have a double legislation. Tunaelewana pamoja? So that is why we tweaked it to non-contributory kwa sababu hiyo ndio haina sheria. Cash transfers zenye tunapeana pasipo sheria. Ama social assistance, and not only government, hata nyinyi mnapeana. It is without a law. That is why that was the gap yenye ilikuwa inabidi tufunike. Kwa sababu tungesema tu blanket hivyo, inamaanisha uende utoe NSSF ama wamend ile SHA Act, which is not really possible. Those are two big brothers who have operated since 1966 and 1965. So prudence is just legislate on what is not legislated. But that does not mean you are not able to implement the SHA Act or the NSSF Act with regard to social protection. Ndio maana we support in the haba, the scheme that targets those who are in the informal. Sini kweli Erastus? Watu wa nyuma munipungie mkono hivi? Yes. Okay, sawa. So that is it. I've given you the reason, and I've given you why it is titled so, and that is why. In the definition, when you look at the definition that is in the policy, you will see a broader definition. I've not put the two definitions here, but in the policy, you will see it defined to include both the contributory and the non-contributory. But now in the Act, because now we have narrowed down to what was not legislated, because I told you the policy gives you the whole universe, environment mzima yenye social protection iko, lakini sheria inakuja kutia vipengee, yani it anchors what is critical, what needs to be really, really strictly adhered to with regard to implementation. So this is the definition that is in the Act. It means non-contributory measures aimed at preventing and mitigating economic and social vulnerabilities, poverty, risks, contingencies, and shocks experienced throughout the life cycle of a person. And because of that, that is called 2 over 10. Eh? That is 2 over 10. Tutaona vile mtascore mwisho huko mwisho. Me, I'm just marking. So this is it, my colleagues, that this is the definition we appreciate. That, yes, our social protection must be able to cushion. You must put up measures that are meant now for us. The focus is on older persons that are able to, prevent them and mitigate. If you can't prevent and it has occurred, then mitigate. Si tuko pamoja? Pengine kuna jambo limetokea, lakini kama limetokea, ona vile ambavyo unaweza punguza makali ya hiyo kitu, isije ikaathiri hao watu kiwango cha waendeleza katika umasikini. If you don't do that, then many people will continue plummeting into poverty. When we did the KIPS in 2015-16, what was the poverty rate? Watu wa mbele, ndio ukikosa kujibu hiyo tunakupeleka nyuma. Mwalimu mzuri anafanyanga hivyo. Unakaa na watu sharp mbele. Sisemi hao wengine ni wabaya, lakini watu wa nyuma watu wa nyuma tunawajuanga. Nilikuwa hiyo shule. You know where I used to sit. Huko nyuma unajua unakoonganga class na hivi. Hao ndio wanasumbuanga class 6 wakiwa class 5. What was the poverty rate by the KIPS? 36.1. Then that was before COVID. Then COVID came, pushed it to 38. Then now the recent economic survey, now I indicate 40 point something. That is telling you more Kenyans are getting, yes, it's above 40 now. Go and look at the recent economic survey. People are getting poorer, even if you hide it.
But we are a middle class country.
Okay. I hear you. You are lower middle income. You're not even middle. You are lower middle income country. But the problem is, if you don't, have you not seen people jump back to poverty? Yes, people have gone from grace to grass. So what I'm seeing, McKenna is frowning. But that is the truth. Data does not lie. Statistics are idanganyi. Yes, they never lie. So what we are saying is that poverty, unless we do various robust social protection interventions, then many people will continue to go into poverty. Let me move quickly. The objects of the Act, that means what is it that the Act wants to address? The objects are like the objectives in a normal language, but the legal language puts them objects. Number one, you cushion persons in need against risks and contingencies. That is the core of social protection, cushioning people. Na huwa tunasema, everybody is vulnerable. When you hear the discourse on vulnerability, even us in this room, we are what? We are vulnerable. Because any contingency negatively to affect upper, si kesho utahitaji support. Yes, that's why we do social protection. I know I'm not doing a training on social protection, so I'm cutting so much information to focus on the Act. But we are saying this Act should be able to cushion the Kenyans, the persons in need. I know I'm not going to the language of why have we used the term persons in need, but it is better, we'll do it later. But we are saying you must be able to cushion. Kuna watu usipowawekea kinga, wataendelea kuzama. A good example is, tuleo pengine uko na health cover. Assume saa hii, kitu kupeleke kwa hospitali na hauna bima ya kiafya, si vitu zote itauzwa ukilipia gharama ya hospitali, na hiyo itakupeleka kwa umasikini. Yes. So that's why we are saying this is the strategies to cushion these vulnerable populations from risks and contingencies. Number 2, to build human capital capabilities and resilience for persons in need. And I know I'm not doing a training, lakini ukweli wa mambo niliwaambia. In the life cycle diagram I said, if we don't put the right things for our children, we have no society. Si miche ndiyo forest. Miche ndiyo forest. Ukipata mtu anakata miti ndogo, wewe peleka huyo mtu jela kama jana. Lakini ukipata akona paso anakata miti kubwa, you may not usikonde sana. Kwa sababu, as long as there is a generation, as long as you have a powerful start in life, and many times I always say this in social protection discussion, nasemanga, hazina na mali ya nchi, saa hii imetoka kwa hii mambo ya factories, iko kwa wapi? Akili ndio nani? Akili saa hii ndio mali. Watu wako hapa mlienda lunch. I'm not seeing any signal. Muna present to flat faces. Sasa sijui kama mnashika ama Why do you make me struggle? Honestly. Kupiga tu kichwa hivi makena ni shida. Si upiga mtu kama anasikiza anapiga kichwa. Mwalimu anasikia kuendelea. Watu wako na ile. Hii kona hii. What we are saying, please, this is the investment of nations. Hapa ndio mali ya mataifa iko. Competition imehama mali mnafikiria. Imeingia kwa what we call cognitive capital. Saa hii hazina imeendelea. What is the capacity of Kenyans who are able to do what? To be able to be employed including in Silicon Valleys. Leo nikitaka kuweka factory kwenu. The question is, can I get the workforce? I want to bring a blue chip manufacturing firm kwa village yenu. Nitatoa workforce wapi? You don't get it. Why? We didn't make the right investments. Yes, utapata tu watu wa mkono. And that is sad. Na wanalipa pesa kidogo na wanafanya kazi mingi na pesa inaenda na Wachina. Tuongeeni ukweli. Yes. Begin to invest. That's why you see in the terms of the government programming, tumeweka uzito kwa early childhood development. That's why we say when Kibaki made free primary thing, ilisaidia. And we'll assume economies zenye zimeenda mbali, they have free primary, they have free secondary, they have free university. Au watu watasonga. That economy will move. No, the question of the extent of freedom, hiyo tuachie wengine. Lakini tunasema enyewe ikiwa free, ingekuwa mzuri. Imagine when just go. I know many of you are researchers. Enda uangalie when that policy shift, what did it do? Not only in the education sector, but in terms of livelihood development. Kuna watoto for the first time waliingia shule na wakabaki. Hata kuna beneficiaries hapa. So what we are saying, yes, the practice may still be wanting, but it is a good initiative because it tells you, kuna mali tunae? If we don't make those Sahi, we have a challenge. My old senior citizens were in the room. And I'm not saying this from, what do you call it? I'm not saying this from a GBV perspective. I'm just saying. Unajua vijana sahi hata watai kuoa na kuzaa. Umewahi kusikia kitu kama hiyo? People don't want to marry and give birth. They see that is a burden. So where are we going to? We love an age society. Yenye hakuna mtu anasaidia hata labor force hakuna, mta import wapi?
We will work. We will be working at 80s.
You will work to produce young ones. You know. Anyway, hii mjadala tungeanza asubuhi. You see, Zakun, tungeanza asubuhi. Because you are seeing the act is already opening your eyes to serious realities. I know you may just think, oh, Richard, but I'm talking about things that are now. If you don't open your eyes and implement this act, then tuko na shida. Hii society itasakama na umasikini haitatoka. Anyway, and I told you I'm not doing a social protection training. Otherwise, I wouldn't. This one alone I can unpack for a whole day. Na ukitoka hapo unasema, kama ni kanisani unasema ningependa kuokoka. Tafadhali nataka kuokoka. So what we are saying, and then promote well-being. I have this philosophy, and that is the slogan for the SDGs. Development is no development if it is not development for all. Ukweli? Yes. If you don't have, ni kama familia yenu mzalie watoto watano na wako na ability. Alafu wewe Mungu akutangulia upate nafasi na opportunity. Alafu upate mahali pazuri yenye inaweza fanya usaidie hao wenu wengine waine. Alafu wewe badala ya kuwasaidia kama huko kwetu unawapea tu pombe na kuwakanyaga. Yes, these things are happening in families, especially some of us who came from a polygamous family. Shukuru Mungu kama wewe hukutoka kwa polygamous family. Shukuru Mungu. Because some of them have negative competition. Unakanyaga hii nyumba, unakanyaga. Finally, ukipima umazikini ama utajiri wa hiyo boma yenye kila mtu huyu alitumia nguvu zake na uwezo wake Mungu alimpea kupull out hao wengine. Ni boma gani itakuwa afadhali? Let us promote the welfare and well-being of every person. Mali tu iko na mali kama iko mikononi mwa watu kadhaa. Lakini kama iko peke yako hivi umejenga wall hivi, watapanda hiyo ukuta wanataka kujua ni nini ameficha hapa ndani. Ama hizi vitu naongea theories. These are things. This is the act. This is the act we are talking about. I know I'm coming to older persons. But chenye nasema the objects of the act. Chenye hii act inataka kuachieve ni kwamba kila mtu awe na kitu. You remember the African philosophy, the Ubuntu. Kuna watu walisoma hapa. The Ubuntu. We are because, I am because we are. Hey, sasa, Richard na hizi vitu zake. The purpose of the act is that the scope of the act is that we limit it to the non-contributory social protection. The principles are obvious. Wengi wetu tunajua kanuni ambazo zinastahili kuongoza kila kitu chema ambacho kiko na matokeo mazuri: equity, social justice, inclusiveness, non-discrimination and participatory governance, rights-based approach to delivery of social protection. I told you social protection is a right. Adequacy, give us an amount that can really mitigate our situation. Accessibility, break the barriers. Social protection is about breaking barriers. Wacha watu wafikie rasilimali, wafikie huduma, na wafikie huduma bora. Sustainability of social protection intervention. That is a principle. Evidence-based programming or evidence-informed. Wacha tufanye mambo si kwa hisia, tuangalie data na tuseme data inasema hivi, kwa hivyo tutaendeleza hii. The life cycle approach is a principle. I told you we don't want to leave anyone behind. In social protection, hata kama utasahau jambo lolote, sema social protection operates on the principles of leave no one behind. Yes, please. Mike Pale.
I want to ask a question in respect to number 3, adequacy,
Yes.
accessibility and sustainability of social protection interventions.
Yes, please.
And in respect to health. You know this thing that was introduced called SHA?
Sure.
I have a comprehensive cover myself, and I don't think I'm vulnerable. But now when you go to the hospital, you go there as an outpatient. You are told the maximum you can spend is 4,000 in a day. And you know, if you go to a doctor, consultation is 4,000.
It's 5,000. I paid
5,000.
it 2 weeks ago.
So it means that after paying 4,000 or after consultation has been done where you produced 1,000 extra, you cannot move to the next step.
To the next step of...
You cannot go for lab test. You cannot be given medication. So how is this one helping the common man if I'm the one suffering like that?
True. Yes, very good question. And that is why for us, as a principle for social protection, indeed you should ensure adequacy and accessibility. Because if I can't access that service to the extent that it can address my vulnerability or my predicament, then haujanisaidia. You are still taking me deeper into poverty. And that's why, Daktari, we are saying, yes, even in social protection programming, the issue is design programs that are able to address the vulnerabilities. The problem now with SHA, if you look at the design, and that is why you see there is the issue of, there is the issue of governance. There's issues of governance that should be somewhere. Because a lot of our schemes, shida yenye inakuja kuwa ni nini? Governance. The administration of that particular provision. Because kabisa uki-administer, look at what we are being charged, some of us, even at your level. Unakuta kwamba pesa unakatwa per month. Now combine all the Kenyans who are at that level. That money, if it is well administered and governed, then it should be able to take care of any medical requirement for any person. So a lot of it, Doctor, is governance. We have people who are not willing to give the best governance to the instruments or to the establishments that you have put. If you look at that thing in the intrinsic value, unapata kwamba the thoughts, the design is good, but the implementation, ndio kuna watu wakona interest, and they curtail others, and now they hinder the delivery of effective services. That is a typical case for me, that is Richard, for issues on governance, because I wish Nani had come, Maurice had come back. I remember, Madam, when we were doing sustainable social protection financing, when we were trying to champion a concept on how best can we finance social protection interventions, we were pursuing a concept called SAI, Save As You Spend. And we say, if we can ride on the expenditure patterns of each and every person, for example, huyu mama yangu hapa, iwe ya kwamba kuanzia wakati alizaliwa, saa zile anatumia pesa, kwa sababu people, you go to them, they'll tell you, have no money. Mimi sina pesa ya kufanya hii. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba anatumia pesa kila siku. Hana pesa, lakini anaspend kila siku. So if we say what you are spending, 0.0 something % goes to your own saving. By the time before you realize it, like for example, kama ni mtoto, by the time anaenda class 8, pesa yake mwenyewe ndio inampeleka shule. Kwa saa zile unaenda kumnunulia diapers, saa zile unaenda kumnunulia ka t-shirt, 0.something % of that expenditure goes to account ya huyo mtoto. When we calculated that thing, we realized, she is here and I have a draft copy of that thing. And Nani, Maurice is here. We are doing it with CPF. We realized that even Kenya as a country will not borrow from IMF or World Bank, because the money that shall be accrued from that particular savings inatosha for the government to borrow. Because when you invest that money in stable bonds, even globally, then you have enough money to run. We'll not be paying social protection benefits from capital. We'll be paying them from proceeds of the investments of that saving. Na tukaona even the university will be free. And I'm not here splitting. I'm not a politician, and I don't aspire to be one. But I'm saying these are things countries have done, and they are running economies. Cite United Seychelles. Is that the right pronoun? When walienda group of schools, mutuokoe wenye tulienda school as a group. You look at Seychelles and you look at Mauritius. These are people, these are economies that were here. My blessed mom, Kenya, in 1963, the GDP for Kenya was higher than for China. There are economies in the room. Kenya ilikuwa tajiri kuliko China, mama yangu. Today, tuko na loans kadhaa ya China. Shida ni nini? Governance. So when daktari is saying that, tunasema tu ni vyema. Hizi vitu, hata umasikini tungekuwa tunaongea kiwango hicho. Tungekuwa tunaongea umasikini yenyewe. For example, ukikusanya watu wote wenye wanaishi Runda, utapata masikini kati ya watu wa Runda. And because of that, nilisema simu itapigwa hapa. Anyway, thank you for that. You can see, but just in terms of principles, wow, that is what we are talking about. I'm just saying very few things around. The Act also acknowledges the role of county governments, because wengine watatuuliza, na katika mjadala huu wote, je, wapi gatuzi zetu? They have a role. And we acknowledge that the county governments have a clear function in terms of implementing these particular national policies and legislation, the Act. We need to collaborate together with them so that we can deliver inclusive services, and we also need to develop systems that are able to support us. Remember, things are hidden in data. Kuna watu hawataki vitu zikuwe digitized kwa sababu hawataki uwizi wao ujulikane. Okay, wacha niendelee tu. Civic education. And then resources. We know counties have resources, they have items that they can support, they're with the people. And we're saying the Act acknowledges that the counties can have this space to be able. So when you're asking me, yes, you developed an Act, and we know counties are the last mile people to be able to, how then do they operate? We acknowledge that counties have a very clear role, especially in the pillar number 4, the complementary programs. We know there are programs that are devolved, and we're saying counties can work with the national government in those devolved functions to deliver social protection interventions, even at that county level. Any question up to that point? If you're happy, can you clap twice? Okay. So we are in part 2, the board, and I said I'll say very little around the board, unless you have an interest, please. And I am not gazetting anything. So the board, the Act acknowledges these provisions around the board.
Sorry, Richard, before we go on, can we get an energizer? Yeah. Energizers,
Oh, people are sleeping. Tufanye tena cheche kule. Ama simameni. You stop sleeping.
They are sleeping with their eyes open.
Why are we sleeping with the eyes open? Just a minute. Just stand and stretch. I'll not harass you. Just stand and stretch. Yeah? Is the information sinking? Yeah. You know, when mukisoma your title, it's very complicated. Sindio, Social Protection Act, a lot of jargon. But what I'm getting, first of all, poverty line. Sindio, we are almost at 40%. And that this act we are trying to unpack is trying to tell us that the government is trying to address what? That 40%. But also, for me, what I've taken is that what can I do to protect myself from getting to be among the 40%? And I've loved something he has said, that if for every child that is born, for all of us, for every expense, diaper, pen, any expense, just 1% ingekuwa inawekwa ya savings zangu. Would we be there? Would we be at 40%? Tungekuwa mbele. Kwa hivyo, perhaps there's something. Please take something. Don't, usiwache ipite. Sindio? Usiwache nini? Sema, hey! Eh? Hey! Nyorosha mkono kabisa. Tengeneza nguo basi isiaibishe. Alafu uende, hey! 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 Let's have a seat.
It is sleeping with their eyes open. So what I'm saying is that on the establishment of the board, we have, number 1, those are the various articles from Article 7 to 27. It's just speaking to the establishment of the board that shall run social protection interventions in the country. There is that article that speaks to establishment, the functions of the board, the powers of the board, composition of the board. You're able to see the qualifications, who is able to be the chairman, the CEO, and even the directors, the tenure of office, vacancy, the CEO, the removal of the CEO, and the committees that are under the board. We also acknowledge how that they're going to be their remuneration, the businesses and affairs of the board, the staff, delegation of powers, the seal, protection of personal liability, the funds, the financial year for the board. We have the annual estimate, the books of account, and the annual report. Those are things that are surrounding the function, how the board operates to be able to execute the mandate on the implementation of social protection services in the country. So, sina mengi ambayo nitapanua sana katika hii. They are standard. These are standard things. You go to the Mwongozo code, they are there. So, not a lot of it is any innovation around social protection. These are standard things that are provided for by the law, the Constitution of Kenya and the Mwongozo code. So, we just borrowed, we specified maybe specific things on the tenure of office, the qualification, how many years of experience for the chair or for the CEO. Those are the critical things which you can touch base on even later. Part 3 are the interesting things. This is now what might be interesting to you. Yes, please.
It would also just be good to point out that under the board, the State Department is already following up on the establishment of this board. Of course, we were told that the CEO must be appointed by the President. So we are following up so that we start implementing the act.
Yes.
Because remember, since last year, July up to now, there ought to be a board functioning and doing all the work. So it is, I would say the word late in bracket kidogo, but it is an area which already is being followed up on, so that, again, we don't take several years before the board starts working. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Madam Jacinta, for that. You can front yourself for the board, and we'll be happy if it comes from amongst us.
Obiga.
Yes, please.
Yeah, just in the same breath,
yes.
You know, this is done by government, but my fear is, and you can also join me in my fears, the moment you have formed a board,
yes,
the president has the power to appoint the person who is going to be the chair of
yes,
the board.
The chair of the board, yes.
Who appoints the CEO?
The CEO applies.
And my fear is,
yes,
somebody will go and contest, and he does not know how to read.
That is the risk.
Then after that is put to be the board chair, because it's a dumping place for those who support the president.
Yeah.
Then what happens to, this is supposed to be a very serious thing, what happens to it? You know, once politics get into this, the appointment, and then they will go into tenders, then the whole thing will be messed up. Are we safe with this?
That was the best we could by virtue of the provisions of the Mwongozo Code, because according to the Mwongozo Code, the chairs of these semi-autonomous bodies are appointed by the president. That is the guidance you were given by the legal team. But now for the CEO, that is an application. They are vetted, and they pass the test. I fear the same sentiments, because it would not really give us mileage when somebody who is neither passionate nor exposed on social protection comes and be the overall head of that. That's why for some who are complaining that we have put very stringent conditions for the CEO, because we are saying should that political appointee come, it is important that you have a strong CEO. But we know that even if you have a strong CEO, na huyu chairman ndio mtu rais anamsikiza or anajua ameletwa na rais, you may not really go far. So I really share your sentiments, Daktari, but that is what Mwongozo could allow us to. Yes, please. Mike, just pick the mic.
In the board, I've seen that one of the nominated members will be from the older persons organizations.
Yes.
So how there are a lot of organizations.
Yes, tulijaribu kujitetea na tukashindwa. How will we get a representative body of older persons yenye utasema tukitaka kuchagua mtu ambaye ni older persons, then atakuwa ni huyu. You see, because I don't know, Erastus can guide me. At the country level, we appear not to have an umbrella body that is representative of all the older persons. And in the event that it appears like that, it might be difficult to say that one member of the board shall be a representative from the umbrella organization of the older persons. If we had one body like that, it would be easy that way. But we set that acknowledging that we don't appear to have one umbrella body. Therefore, I think it will be, yes, it might be murky in terms of who goes, but we are saying for me, it is better that we acknowledge a representation of the older persons in that board than being blind to it and having no representation. I admit your sentiment, but we tried our best and we could not find. Thank you for that, and thank you for that question. By the way, already you can see, Erastus and together with the team, that the board has given opportunity for representation of the older persons, acknowledging the role of older persons in being able to provide clear direction in terms of providing protection to the society, not only to older persons, because older persons can also provide guidance even to other aspects. Vile daktari alikuwa nasema, ni watu ndio wameretire, lakini they have a wealth of information. They have quite vast knowledge, including in other areas they have passed through. So for me, it is a plus, but we'll see how to cross that bridge. Yes. Ndio hii, leta mic. Oh, ulienda, kuna mtu alikuwa na swali hapo?
Kama mshinda kuuliza. Now, if you look at, where is Jane? Jane, where are you going to?
Yes.
The last time we had, didn't you only had the mark? No, we are saying, about 2 weeks ago, we were doing this booklet on older persons.
Yes.
And there were many representations that were there. They were mooting the idea that we need to have an older persons organization. From there, we are able to fish out that person. That is all. So if that is accepted, then we have a platform from which we can get that. So
very true.
Where you put it, I think is that one will be cured.
Will be cured by what you are proposing.
What we are proposing.
Very true.
So let's hope that takes effect.
If you move fast, then that would be the best, because from that umbrella body, they can be able to vote themselves of their representative and propose to the board.
So I was expecting Jane to say that, but I think Jane is busy. Thank you.
Jane was leveraging on you when you were present, and Asema, you are the mouthpiece. Okay, thank you, Director, and thank you, my colleague, for that. So very quickly, in terms of administration of social protection, this is where, these are the various articles from 28 to 41. If you have the Parent Act, you'll be seeing how then do we provide or administer social protection services. This is very keen, and you can see the categories of people to whom social protection is given to, the type of benefits, social protection benefits that we provide, how do we get those benefits, eligibility for social protection benefits. Remember, the Act does not define the how. It gives you the categories and the types of benefits. Then the regulations will now come to tell you how then do they. Then the application for social protection. Now you can see, katika maisha yetu ya nyuma, social protection was, sisi ndio tulikuwa tunakuja kwenu kuwaweka. Lakini saa hii kwa hii sheria, nyinyi ndio mtakuwa mna apply. You will apply for a social protection benefit. So that it moves from that household approach to a more of individual entitlement and benefit. Then the review of decisions by the board, pengine kuna swala ambalo limetokea, ambao kuna changamoto, you can review. Then we have appeals. If you are not satisfied with the processes, then there is an appeal mechanism that has been given. The rights and obligations of the beneficiaries, what is your right and what is the duty that you have. Then we have abuse of benefits, either by a representative or by the actual beneficiary. Kama hatumii vizuri, imeelezwa ni nini hiyo kama hatumii vizuri, then under what circumstances can we stop that benefit, termination of benefit, and then when a benefit has been taken erroneously by a person or through a malpractice, how do we recover that? So you can see the refund to the board and the review of the benefits in terms of ni jinsi gani tunaweza ongeza the amount, adjust the amount, and next to it you see indexation of benefits. Ile pesa tunapeana under the national safety net, they inua jamii. Ile pesa tunapeana pesa ngapi kwa kila mwezi? 2,000. Aya, only sijasema. It's only written on paper, we don't say it. And then, when was the last time that amount was taken to 2,000? Nani anajua?
Someone is a microphone here.
It is, Nani? Patricia, you are protesting. No. They are saying you have the microphone to provide the answer. The last time the amount was adjusted to 2,000. Watu wa pande ile? Patia watu wa huko mwisho, wanajua. Watu wa mwisho mko... kitu kama hiyo, yes. I was right.
2016 hapo.
Hapo. Hata mimi nakubaliana na wewe. So you can see, now 10 years down the line, we have been paying the same transfer value. Life has changed. Kitambo hiyo ulikuwa unaingia na 1,000 unatoka na kikapu imejaa. Now you only go with a small Uru bag and you come out with what you can carry and go. So what we are saying is that indexation, we want to be revising the values according to the changing context. Then we have the registry, the social protection registry, which you will hear my colleagues speak to, and then issues of data handling. So these are the articles that are in the Act which you may be interested in. Part 1 tells you the categories. And you look at Article 28, Part 3, it tells you what are the categories. Na hapa ndio unajiangalia, unasema, for this convening, we are interested in Part B. We say orphans or vulnerable children. Then we say poor older members of society. The word poor is very deliberate because social protection iko na domain. Sindio? Iko na boundaries zake. The focus of social protection is poverty and vulnerability. Poor older members of society, persons with disabilities, persons in extreme poverty, because tunatambua kuna watu ambao si orphans, na si older persons, na si wenye kuna disabilities, lakini wako maskini. Then we have persons affected by shocks. Kwa sababu tunatambua, pengine, serikali saidia, umlisikia hiyo kitu? Vitu zote zimeenda na maji. Hata bwana ameenda na kila So those persons, social protection should be able, we recognize in this act that they need to be supported. These are persons in need, the categories. Then unpaid, deficient, and unsupported caregivers. Ni ile tu sina time ya kuuliza kuelewa kwetu huku, kwa sababu kuna mambo ambayo inastahili uelewe, lakini ukweli ni kwamba katika utendaji wetu we know there are people who are taking care of some very vulnerable people. Pengine wengine wanashughulikia mtu mwenye akona kisukari ama akona saratani, na unakuta ya kwamba huyo mtu time yake yote imechukuliwa na caregiving ya that person, kiwango cha kwamba hawezi pata nafasi ya kwenda kufanya kazi zingine. So those are the people, na unakuta hakuna mtu anamlipa kwa ajili ya hiyo. So that is one level of interpreting, because they are very vulnerable by virtue of that caregiving. Ama wao wenyewe unakuta kando na hiyo pia bado wako na hali fulani. I need to be fast. Yes.
Small pointing out.
Yes.
So you have brought a very, very important point there. So let us think as the practitioners, what the act is bringing. Is it, I don't want an answer, we don't want an answer now. Is it good or bad? Now that you'll be applying and the board will check whether you qualify or not. Or should it be the way it has been political, where it is everybody, 70 plus? So let us think about it. We don't want answers, but that is now the big change.
Ama usipopitia kwa chief, haupati. Ama usipoona mtu mzuri, haupati. Si hii kitu imetusaidia. Now you can sit and apply and get vetted kivyako. Pasipo mtu kuleta namna yote ya ufisadi.
Or maybe let's ask ourselves, we got cases where you drive, it was those who are not on pension, civil.
Yes.
So you drive your Prado to the paying point, pick your 2,000 and go back home.
Yes. I think tulikuwa kwa parliament the other day when you were putting submissions for the regulations pamoja na waziri, and one of the MPs alikuwa anapeana a very big joke. Eti my father, I don't know why, amekataa eti hawezi acha hii pesa. Anaingia, anachukua wazee kwa gari yake kwa Prado wanaenda kuchukua hiyo 2,000. Na anarudi, na he is so happy. Even when I've sent him, hata kama ni 50,000. Hiyo yake 2,000.
Anawanunulia chai na hiyo pesa before they go back home.
Kitu kabla wajaenda. So you can see what the role of this money. For you may think this thing is a small deal. Lakini hii kitu, in terms of even self-esteem, inamsaidia sana. Yes.
When it comes to this,
yes.
What about when the chief stops you because you are rich, you not get your 2,000?
They should not. According to the existing law, bora hauna pension. Pesa kulingana na vile serikali ilitangaza in 2017-18 ni kwamba kila mzee wa miaka 70 kuelekea juu, bora hayuko kwa pension, akona haki ya kupata hii pesa. Ila yeye mwenyewe amue kwamba mimi sitaki. But all those things that are happening, they are malpractices ambapo watu wanafanya.
Yeah, that of course comes from the chief.
Yes.
What about the home? Because there was an item on help from the family.
Yes.
When one is really frail,
yes,
with age.
Yes.
Now there is another chief there in the family.
Yes.
How will you handle it when they don't allow you to receive your money? They receive for you,
and other things. And it's not just the 2,000 I'm thinking of, it's the protection.
Yes, very true. There are cases where, let me give 2 examples. Number one, I remember at one point when I was in Rando, we registered the mother of a chief by force against the chief's will. The chief had 3 wives. The mother was still living, and the mother was totally abandoned. Nyumba imeinama hivi, inaanguka. Na chief amekataa mama yake asiweke kwa mradi kwa sababu itamwaibisha. We did it behind his back. Because the mother is not, amepotelea kwa wake zake huko. Na mama, nyumba imeinama. Villagers ndio walisema pana, tuwekeni huyu. Si kwa sababu ingine yote. That is one example where you see, honestly, yeye ameweka sura kwa sababu wanalinda jina. Eti mama ya chief atakuwa anapata. You see. But ukweli ni kwamba, japokuwa yeye ni chief, lakini amefanya nini? Kuna watu hata wengine, watoto wetu wako ng'ambo. Lakini ukiangalia vile tunaishi, hata mwenye mtoto yake anakaa hapo akifanya kibarua ni afadhali. But kwa sababu watu watasema hapana, nani watoto wake wako ng'ambo, kwa hivyo msimpe, and yet this person cannot even afford a quarter kilo of sugar. Kuna wengine unapata ya kwamba nyumba, alijengewa nyumba na watu inaitwa nini hii ya Catholic kama ya PCA. Walikuru comfort, watu wa comfort walikuja wakaangalia ile vile unakaa, wakakujengea kanyumba na wakakuplaster na kuwekea madirisha. Wakati unakuja kuangalia wanasema wakina nani wenye wanaishi kwa nyumba mzuri, and yet inside that house somebody sleeps without food. That is one way. The other one yenye unasema ni kwamba yeye sasa anakuzuia akione kwamba wewe eti kuna uwezo sasa ufai kupata pesa yako, ama caregiver wako, which I'll handle here. If your caregiver is mishandling you by your benefits, anachukua benefits zako na hakupei na hakuchungi na hakushughuliki, hiyo pia ni jambo lingine ambalo utaona vile sheria inashughulikia, because it is there, it is well taken care of by the law.
But now let me ask you.
Yes, please.
Based on what you have said, where some MP was saying that the father carries other fathers in his pride and then he goes and takes the money.
Yes.
How does that now guard against, in terms of measuring poverty, what yardsticks do you now put in place to ensure you guard against bias so that somebody who is at least not very poor gets? Because from the look of things, the parameters are not very tight to the extent that somebody who is having a brother can always fall under the poverty-stricken and is able to get, also long as he's 70 years. That is what we need.
For the existing program, up to when the law had not taken effect, he was right to get, because mukikata na peleka koti, and the executive direction was anybody above 70 gets. In fact, sisi ndio tulirudi tukaingiza hiyo as a policy direction, that tafadhali toa wenye wako na pension, kwa sababu watakuwa wana double dip kwa serikali. Serikali inawapea pension na bado wanakuja wanachukua pesa ingine ya serikali. But the other one who did not have any pension, hata kama ni matajiri, walikuwa na haki, because it was given as a rights principle when President Uhuru Kenyatta declared that anybody above 70, and remember the petitioning was by the Mau Mau fighters. Hao ndio walienda kwa State House wakaambia Kibaki nani Uhuru, we fought for this country and we're not getting anything. Those were some of the catalysts to that one. So, but now this thing is going to be cured by this. Kwa sababu hii sasa inaondoa hiyo. You apply, it is put on a waiting, you will see it after this, kwa regulations na hapo chini, itapimwa, na only when you qualify in terms of the means testing and also the eligibility, ndio utapewa. Now it is not anybody getting. Only 2 minutes for each and of those hands. Anzia, okay.
Thank you. What I've been wondering...
I'll go very fast, don't worry, I'll go very fast. Yes?
What I've been wondering is what the government, the problem the government is trying to solve by now changing to application from the universal manner of getting the cash transfer. Is it that the government wants to kick out all people so that they can save? Because if you look at what you are explaining now, it's very difficult to reject a product when the salesman is good as you. But looking at what was happening when we were still dealing with the 65 and above, where people were being targeted, you had to go to the chief and they had to look at the things you are explaining. It looks to me like we are going back there. Because even if we say that you apply, there will still be these people who will still be there to approve. They will still be the chiefs, the village elders, the people in the community. So are we not going back to what we had run away from? Why is the government back thinking? Because that's where we came from. Then we came to universal. Why are we going back there? What has the government learned that they didn't know before?
Okay, good question. Let me combine it with her question so that I can address that in 1 minute and move very quickly and finish.
Yeah, I'm asking about person affected by shocks.
Yes.
So does it mean that there'll be reassessment so that they keep assessing whether the shock period has ended? Then F, caregivers.
Yes.
I feel that sometimes when ladies get children, some even stop working. So does that caregiving role also protect the women from those shocks, you know? So I am agreeing with what Daktari was saying. Some of these definitions are pretty loose.
We'll see them. You'll see how they are tightened. Remember, there are regulations that unpacks all this. So don't worry. Wacha tumalize, alafu tutaingia kwa regulations utaziona. And this, the good thing about the act is that it tells you how far you can go. But within that, programs will still be able to tell you how then do we take care of such women. Right now, because even courtesy of the policy and the act, we are championing a program for the care economy for women who are working and looking at the unpaid care work, which touches on so much on women. And quickly as Erastus comes in, the issue of we are retracting and going back, not really. But remember, for me, this would give more Kenyans more opportunity than what we had. The last time we did an expansion, say for what came recently under the 500, we did an expansion apart from the universal scheme, the older persons in 2017. Some of the programs were expanded in 2014, last. So you can see from that time to 2026, you are only dealing with the only people you had. But when you open up for applications will be coming on a daily basis. Remember, even for the 70 plus, we only did that admission once. How many people hit 70 every minute, every hour? Thousands. And there we are not taking care of them. So for me, it would give more opportunity to more Kenyans than even when we are doing the targeted programs. But Rastas, you want to say something? I'm moving.
I just wanted to remind you something.
Yes.
I stay in Ongatarongai.
Yes.
And sub-county ya Kajiado North. I'm a good friend to our MCA, na niko karibu na timu ya mbunge wetu. When they were, kulikuwa na intake ya teachers, training colleges, na sitasema jina ya MCA wetu, I know walizunguka kusema, natafuta majina ya walimu 5, na akapata. Then, when they were recruiting the army and the police, the same thing does. And you already said it, you see. Whatever is here is very good, but the administration...
Governance,
you said it.
Sasa governance, nitawachia nyinyi. Usiweke maswali tena, hapana. Hapana Shabani. Hiyo soko nafunga. You can see, and of course, I wish Titus was here, but of course, where is McKenna? McKenna, you are here. You can see how many days we need. You can just see. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Okay, very quickly now.
But I would rather,
yes.
Instead of rushing, and bear with me, instead of rushing, because it's very important that what you are doing here, McKenna, if it were possible, we exhaust one, complete the watu wauliza maswali, because without questions again, they'll help us to understand. So we give you time.
Yeah, I'm trying to rush. No, don't look at how people are interested.
Yes, yes. Don't rush.
No, he didn't put,
Thank you so much, Richard. I can see McKenna is really implementing, the rights of the VMGs. So this is inclusion. However, thank you so much. I think I just wanted to explain my brother over there, Thomas. Yeah. So he talked about, people included, inclusion wrongly in terms of being in the registry. I think the registry is meant to eradicate, such things and probably we have a very elaborate roadmap in terms of the data collection when we are going to the field. We do, you know, there are so many steps that we sensitize Kenyans. And then the registry, remember, is a social registry. Like, you know, each and everyone, you know, as long as they give us the consent, they should be in the registry, including even the rich. But then again, there are some that actually, you know, targeted by the program, depending on the vulnerability status which are given by the program in terms of eligibility criteria. So the registry is meant, you know, to include each and every person. However, the program will come up with their own criteria. That's why we have, I know, we are preempting what we are going to present. We'll explain that in detail. We have also 64 parameters where we'll, you know, take the survey or the questionnaire in terms of the household demographic, household characteristics, geographical, context, just to, going about after these, you know, all these are calculated, there are algorithm within the system that will be able to score, or what we call the wealth ranking, all the households. So we are no longer actually just coming back to you, Thomas, now, telling chiefs to provide us with the list of the, village, ambayo wanatuletea list ya, wale wanapewa relief food. So we are moving away from this. Just like my brother Richard has said, it's a data-driven decision. We don't want to wait for the emergencies to come. Once you know you will ask for this data, we'll be able to sort you out. You remember during the COVID-19